Mr Patrick Musgrove, General Manager of Arnott Harper, Australia, Mr Henry Harrison, President of the Australian Greyhound Racing Association, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. The HGRC, in association with Greyhound's greatest sponsor in Australia, Arnott Harper, proudly presents the running of the 1987 National Sprint Championship Final of Australia. First run in 1965 when won by New South Wales dog Best Son at Harold Park. This will be the 23rd staging of the Melbourne Cup of Greyhound Racing and is a first for Tasmania. Many champions have won this event, including Red Zero in 1969, the Great Tem Lee in 1974, Bo Etzel 1977, Kate's a Scandal 1981 and Winifred Bale in 83. And who will forget 1984 when Busy Vintage from Tasmania won at Harold Park to put Tasmania back on the Greyhound map. Tonight we are proud to present Busy Vintage at the head of the 1987 parade. Busy Vintage by Highland Summer from Tiny Port had 49 starts in his career and won 26 of them with 10 seconds. From 25 starts at Hobart, he had 15 wins and 5 seconds. He won the 1984 state final of the Arnott Harper in Tasmania, running a blistering 28.55 around the 497 Hobart circuit, and went to Harold Park and defeated Eagle Hawk Star and Blue Echo in the final on the 30th of the 9th, 1984. Coincidentally, he ran the same time, 26.38, that Tutanakai lad this year won New South Wales final in. He was a runner-up to Brother Fox here in the Hobart 1000. He held the 580 metre track record at Devonport and of course held the track record here until he was beaten, till it was broken by Brother Fox. And of course, he is the sire of the local hope this year, True Vintage. Ladies and gentlemen, a great dog parading before the final, Busy Vintage. Tonight's final has drawn together the 8 winners from all 6 states in Australia, from the Northern Territory, and for the first time from New Zealand to make the event truly an Australasian event. The field comprises 6 dogs and 2 bitches, and between them they have won 104 races. The dogs tonight have been accompanied by girls from the Tasmanian Dance Studio. One on the red is Magic Etzel from South Australia, a black dog by Bo Etzel from Silent Victory, whelped in April 1985. Owned by Alan Brown at R.O. Farley and trained by Alan Brown at Gawler East in Adelaide. He is the South Australian winner at Angle Park. He has had 36 starts in that state for 10 wins, 5 seconds and 6 thirds. He ran a personal best time of 30.35 in winning the Adelaide final when he led all the way to easily defeat Pinehurst coming out of box 3. He trialled a smart 26.86 last Friday and is sure to improve on that. Ideally drawn in box 1, he has run 2 placings from his 2 starts out of that box. Can Magic Etzel make it 3 in a row for South Australia after they've won it with Scenic Spa and Stetson the last 2 years? Ladies and gentlemen, 1 on the red, Magic Etzel. 2 on the check is Balfour from New Zealand, a brindle dog by Thomas Earl from New Pacific and whelped in January 1985. He is owned and trained by Mrs Kay Braithwaite of Pakuranga, Auckland, New Zealand, and led tonight by husband Gordon. In New Zealand, Balfour has had 39 starts for 12 wins, 6 seconds and 6 thirds. He has won 8 races at Hamilton in New Zealand where the final was held. He has also won at Kumeu and Rotorua. On the 18th of September, he won the right to represent New Zealand when coming from this box. He easily won on the 500 metre Hamilton U-turn circuit. He has raced only on grass and is sure to improve on his 27-second trial here last week. He is also a semi-final winner of the New Zealand St Ledger, and we wish him all the best in his Tasmanian debut. From 9 starts from box 2, he has had 4 wins and 3 placings. 2 on the check, Balfour. 3 on the white from Queensland is Are You Married? A black dog by Yo-Yo Flyer from Scripture, a March 85 whelp. He is owned and trained by Lenore Beaton of Tambourine Village just out of Brisbane. From only 21 starts, he has had 5 wins, 4 seconds and 4 thirds. He has won 4 races at the Gabba and 1 at Capalaba. He finished brilliantly to win the Queensland final from box 2 by half a length over the early runaway leader Run Baby Run in a fast 32.51. He has also won a heat of the Queensland Derby in a brilliant 32.41, which is only 1/10 outside Hopeful Dole's track record. a powerful finisher. He is well suited by the Hobart track, and from 2 starts out of the box he has drawn tonight, he has had a win and a second. Will he join Cooperoo Flyer and Madonna Lee, Queensland's other winners of this event in the past? 3 on the white, Are You Married from Queensland. 4 on the blue, from New South Wales, is Tutanakai Lad, a black dog by Tangaloa from Dolly's Desire, whelped in December 1984, owned and trained by Richard Zammit of Rouse Hill in New South Wales, who would be remembered as the owner of the New South Wales Greyhound of the Year twice in a row, National Lass. From 40 starts in the Premier State, he has had 15 wins, 7 seconds and 6 thirds, and on the Harold Park circuit, similar to this track, he has won 7 times from 19 starts. He has beaten many top dogs to get this far, including Brother Who, Snow Report and Pivot's victory. He led all the way from box 7 in the Harold Park final in 26.38 to easily beat Royal Treat and the favourite Sky's Mary. He has won in a sensational 26.15 at Harold Park from box 5, and he trialled a very smart 26.57 here last Friday. With 2 wins from 5 starts out of the box he has drawn tonight, another win for a New South Wales dog would bring it to 10 wins in this event for New South Wales. 4 on the blue, Tutanakai Lad. 5 on the yellow, from Western Australia, is Fremantle Echo, a fawn dog by Blue Echo out of Next In Line, a May 85 greyhound, owner Mr J Parker of Palmyra, Western Australia, trainer Mrs D Neilsen of Bunbury, and led in tonight by Albert Neilsen. At 34.8 kilograms, he is the heaviest dog in the race. From only 18 starts in Western Australia, he has won 8 with 6 seconds and a third, all at Cannington, a 530 metre circuit. At 2 years and 5 months of age, he is the youngest runner in the race as well. He has run a sensational 30.76 and 30.79 at Cannington, which is not far outside the record of the former freak greyhound General Jeff. He led all the way in the Western Australian final on September the 19th to beat Darkham Treese by 5.5 lengths in a best of night 31.14. He has won from box 5 and ran a smart 26.63 here last Friday. He is also a son of Blue Echo, who ran 3rd to Busy Vintage in the 1984 National Sprint Final. A Fremantle Echo victory tonight would be WA's 2nd, Mr Toe White, having won at Angle Park in 1978. Number 5 on the yellow, Fremantle Echo. 6 on the brown from Tasmania, True Vintage, a black and white bitch by Busy Vintage from Little Jackie. She is a January 1985 whelp, owner David Crosswell, trainer Margaret Crosswell, well known in Tasmania from Sanford, led tonight by David. At 26.8 kilos, she is the smallest runner in the race and one of only 2 bitches. In 22 starts, she has had 16 wins, 2 seconds and 1 third. From 7 starts at Hobart, 6 wins and a second. A daughter of the 1984 national champion, she has won 12 in succession. If she wins tonight, she'll be only 2 wins short of Kate's Scandal Australian record of 15 wins in a row. She came from box 7 to win her state final in 26.69, doing it the hard way, but was running away from Riverbank Musser, who won earlier tonight. She was beaten at her Tasmanian debut, but has won her next 12 in this state. She is the track record holder of 26.32. She is the unofficial track record holder at White City, running 29.52, and the unofficial record holder at Olympic Park, running 29.56, and the handicap record holder at Hobart, 25.70. 13 is said to be unlucky for some, but possibly unlucky for her opposition tonight. 6 on the brown, True Vintage from Tasmania. 7 the black, all the way from the Northern Territory, is Apache Eye, a white and fawn bitch by Chief Dingan from Siberia. She is a March 85 whelp, owner Linton Rydell, trainer Milan Korolaya of Darwin. From 25 starts in the Northern Territory, she has won 17 races with 2 seconds and 3 thirds. She has a sensational record up north and started 3-1 on to win the Darwin final at Windermere Park in a very quick 32.61. She has already represented the Northern Territory when she went to Perth earlier this year and ran 5th to Pretty Fearless in the America's Cup Challenge. She won a heat and final of the Darwin Cup, beating all comers, has won the last 4 starts, and the trainer Milan Coralaya also had a representative in the national final at Olympic Park earlier in the year in Sheba's Image. She trialled a very smart 1943 hand slip and has won her only 2 starts from box 7. 7 on the black from the Northern Territory, Apache Eye. 8 on the pink from Victoria is Hopeful Supreme, a black and white greyhound, male dog, by Chariot Supreme, the great sire out of Hopeful Victory. He is an August 84 whelp, which makes him the oldest runner in the race. He is owned by Mrs. Emboff and trained by Kevin Richards of Newham South in Victoria. He is one of the great Chariot Supreme stock, as I mentioned. He won his heat in a very fast 30.45 at Sandown and won the Victorian state final at that track, running 30.64 best of the night from box 2 in defeating the great Shining Chariot by a neck. He is a prolific winner in Victoria, having won 21 of his 53 starts and has run blistering times like 29.70, 29.83 at Olympic Park, 24.89 at Warragul, and he has won 2 races over 2.98, so his early pace is not in question. From box 8, he has had 11 starts for 6 wins and 5 seconds. A big V victory tonight would be the Garden State's 7th win in the event and the first since Boetzel won it in 1977. 8 on the pink, ladies and gentlemen, Hopeful Victory from Victoria. Parading behind the field tonight, we have the 2 Tasmanian reserves who ran placings behind True Vintage to make the reserves, noting the home state always has the reserves in the final, they being Riverbank Musser, trained by Tim Hicks, and Some Gain, trained by David Higgins. Ladies and gentlemen, you've seen 8 of the best dogs in Australia parade. Shortly we'll see who is the 1987 National Sprint Champion. Give them all a great hand.
Are You Married into box 3, Fremantle Echo into 5, Apache Eye into box 7. Those greyhounds about to be placed in. Balfour goes up now. The New Zealand entrant is locked away. And the odd-numbered greyhounds about to come forward. Now the field is set for the 1987 Arnott Harper National Sprint Final. The favourite True Vintage carries the brown rug. They're set. And away Magic Etzel came out quickly down on the inside. True Vintage is going to lead though. True Vintage gets across the lead. Are You Married second in third placing early Fremantle Echo. They were followed back on the fence by Magic Etzel. About 2 lengths further back in the field, Tutanakai led. They were followed by Apache Eye, Hopeful Supreme as they run to the home turn. Balfour is last as True Vintage in front. Halfway down the straight coming at it Fremantle Echo. True Vintage and Fremantle Echo. The West Aussies got up. Fremantle Echo beat True Vintage. Are You Married third. They were followed in by further back Hopeful Supreme, and back in behind those greyhounds to finish Tutanakai Lad, Magic Etzel. Balfour was well back in the field. Vintage from Tasmania second. And number 3, Are You Married from Queensland third. And a very good run indeed, just 7/100ths of a second outside the track record. 26:39, the time recorded by Fremantle Echo from Western Australia.
Just go forward a little because they'll come in behind you and just...
General Manager of Arnott Harper Proprietary Limited Australia, Mr. Patrick Musgrove. The Chairman of the Tasmanian Racing Directorate, Mr. David McQuestion. Director of Racing for the Directorate, Mr. Kevin Pearce. The Minister for Racing in the State, Mr. Ian Braid, and the Chairman of the Tasmanian Greyhound Racing Board, Mr. Clem Hoggett. To the Board of the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club, special guests, officials, and ladies and gentlemen, we've witnessed a great race, the final of the 1987 Arnott Harper final, the sprint final, and give all the greyhounds a hand and a special big hand to the winner. I'd like to welcome the Chairman of the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club, Mr. Robert Higgins.
Thank you very much, AJ. On behalf of the committee management and members of the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club, it gives me a great deal of pride and pleasure to be able to say a few words on this very auspicious occasion, the running of the $110,000 1987 Arnott Harper National Sprint Final. Unfortunately, Tasmania was a gallant second, but what a gallant second she was. And I think you could all put your hands together for True Vintage and David Crosswell. They have really put greyhounds in Tasmania back on the map and created a lot of interest in Tasmania, and it's a wonderful spectacle to see everybody here this evening. Ladies and gentlemen, there are a couple of speakers to come. I'd just like to thank the public of Tasmania for supporting this event in magnificent fashion and assure you that greyhound racing in Tasmania is looking forward to a bigger and better future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Robert. I'd like to call forward the Minister for Racing in the State, Mr. Ian Braid.
Mr. Higgins, Mr. Musgrove, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to you, Robert and Hobart Greyhound Racing Club, for staging a magnificent Arnott Harper National Sprint Final. I think full credit goes to the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club. 6 months ago you had problems, you overcome those problems, and tonight it's a credit to your club the way you've promoted not only Arnott Harper National Sprint but also Tasmania. Also congratulations to Arnott Harper and to you, Mr. Musgrave, for your support of greyhound racing throughout Australia. We were disappointed as Tasmanians that True Vintage never got up. It has saved the Racing Directorate $5,000, but there will be $20,000 be made available to the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club for the sponsorship of this national event. Congratulations to the club and also to the connections of Fremantle Echo. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Braid. I'll call forward the General Manager of Arnott Harper Australia, Mr. Patrick Musgrove, to present the trophies. Patrick Musgrove.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This has been a great race, very exciting race, and I'd like first of all to congratulate the Australian Greyhound Racing Association for the splendid organisation of the races throughout the whole of Australia. But particular thanks and congratulations to the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club for the splendid organisation of the race tonight and the tremendous function last night. My thanks also to all the clubs throughout Australia for their participation in the heats and state finals, to all the contestants who've taken part all throughout Australia, and particularly also to the media who've given the tremendous coverage in every state, but particularly in this state. Thanks very much to all the members of the media for the tremendous support you've given to this race. I'd also like to thank Australian Airlines for their assistance in the sponsorship. They've been invaluable, as usual, in transporting greyhounds and people around the whole of Australia. It was a great race and one of the more exciting finishes, and it looked almost as though the Tasmanian dog was going to achieve a first. This is the first time the Sprint Championship's ever been held in Tasmania, and it would have been amazing if the Tasmanian dog had won here, but that wasn't to be. And all congratulations to the West Australian dog for coming in first. It now gives me great pleasure to present the cheques. First of all, I'll present the cheques to the third winning dog, which is Are You Married from Queensland. And I'd like to present the cheque for $2,000 to Lenore Beaton. And now the second cheque, which is for $4,500, I'd like to present to David Crosswell. The winner was True Vintage, of course, from Tasmania. And now the cheque for the first prize, which is for $27,500. I'd like to present to Mr. John Parker, the owner of Fremantle Echo from Western Australia. And I'd also like to present the trophy.
John, would you like to say a word?
Better get the thing out. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to thank Mr. Patrick Musgrave of Arnott Harper's first for the very fine job they've been doing in supporting us and sponsoring us over the past many years, and we hope they continue in the future to do the same fine job. Thank you, Arnott Harper's, from the bottom of our hearts. I'm sure all the greyhound people love you here tonight. Thank you. To the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club, thank you very much for a very fine effort last evening and tonight. A highly excellent evening tonight. I'm so pleased and proud, not only for myself and my associates, for the trainers who've done so much for this dog and brought him up from injuries to put him on and bring off this coupe tonight. I'm very proud of the trainers and everybody in Western Australia, plus my commiserations to the losers. A very fine run by the vintage dog. We had to get him tonight, you saw in the paper this morning. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for that bit. The next bit is open for ladies and gentlemen. Thank you all for turning up tonight. We're so pleased once again that such a fine crowd has come. We hope to be here or in the eastern states very shortly, so you can see this fine dog. He's not quite ready yet, but he came up tonight. He's not quite what we want. He'll be up better than that, and we might be able to tackle him.
Oh, he's playing basketball. He won't reach the back runners, Dan. I think the ball's off the way out.
Of the club, I'd like to immensely thank the committee, Mr. Harold Challenger, Mr. Ken Donovan, Mrs. Rosemary Mann, Mr. Bernard Gillen, and of course the Secretary Manager of the Hobart Greyhound Racing Club, Carol Chilcott, for a magnificent effort. Thank you to those people.
Wonderful.